everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite and not favorite products from Colourpop, or rather the best products in my opinion and the worst products in my opinion. So today's video is actually a collab video with Macey here on YouTube. I will have her channel linked down below. I think I've been a subscriber to Macey for like 2 years now since she's been on YouTube, and I really enjoy her channel. It's a lot different from mine in the sense that she does a lot more hauls than I do, so if you miss me doing a lot of hauls, I feel like I used to, but I've really tamed it in the last year just for my own sanity. But she does a lot of hauls and I really enjoy watching hauls because, again, I don't go shopping very often, so it's like living vicariously through somebody. So if you miss seeing hauls on my channel, I think you'll really like her. And again, all of her stuff will be down in the description, and I just want to say thank you for inviting me to do this collab with you. And now before I jump into talking about what products I picked from Colourpop, which are the best in my opinion and the worst in my opinion, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button because I upload every single day, Monday through Friday, typically at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard. And I don't want you guys to miss any of my videos if these are interesting to you. I do a lot of videos like this. I talk about makeup. I do a lot of project panning here on my channel, and I'm doing things like the Reverse Rouge Challenge and all of that. I'm just trying to get a better feel for my makeup collection. I'm also cruelty free and a huge Harry Potter fan. So if any of that sounds good, definitely make sure to hit that button. And now let's just hop on into what products I'm going to talk about today. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely more of a give me the bad news first thing and then end it on a good note. So I like to get, you know, the worst products out of the way. But I am a huge avid fan of Colourpop. I ordered from them within like the first 6 months of their company ever launching. I was still living in Rock Hill, South Carolina, where I went to school, where I went to college. So I remember I was there within their first year of opening as a company, so I've been a diehard fan ever since. For the most part, I really don't complain about Colourpop, but there are a few products I've tried over the years, and some of them aren't even on their website anymore, that just haven't been up to par with everything else that they've put out here lately. So the first thing that I want to mention in my worst category, going to be in both categories, and you're probably thinking, how the heck is it in the best and the worst part? And it's the Super Shock shadows. So I have one right here. This is in the color Play. I don't even think they have this one online anymore, but this is a matte Super Shock. This is a matte Super Shock. I don't think the matte formula of the Super Shocks is nearly as good as the metallic and like the glitter top coat ones. They tend to dry out a lot faster. They don't tend to be easy to use. Now I have hit pan on this one because this one is a lot better than most, which is why I still have it. But just overall, they're a little harder to use. This one, again, looks pretty good. Oh man, I should have used that today. This is like a peachy one. This doesn't represent all of them as a whole very well because I've tried a lot. I've owned a lot of the matte ones, and they're almost always the ones I end up decluttering because they're usually drier in general. They don't last as long. They're just kind of hard to use. This one I could actually use in my crease because it just blends really easy. It's really pigmented and smooth, as you guys can see. But I have had a lot of the matte Super Shocks before, like when they first launched. I just don't like them in overall. There are a few that I do like. I like this one, and then there was another one that was like a gray color. I used to remember the name of it because I loved it so much. I don't remember it anymore, but that one was also good. But overall, I don't think the mattes are very good from Colourpop as far as Super Shock formula. But again, this is all kind of preference. This isn't, you know, representative as a whole, obviously, because I have one right here that I like. But in general, I don't care for the Super Shock matte formula. Along the same vein a little bit, I'm gonna hold up this. This is a highlight, but Colourpop has blushes in these compact. They're like the Super Shock formula, and I don't like those blushes because they're so hard to use. Now this also might be a user error because I've been using a lot more cream blushes here lately, and I actually have a cream blush in my project pan right now from Colourpop that I actually really like, but it still is a little difficult to use. If you don't have the right brush, it can move your product underneath, or it can look patchy. So that's why I'm putting this in the worst category, because it takes such a large learning curve. I would rather just use a powdered blush and move on, or like just a regular like really liquidy cream blush, because I feel like those are easier to use. When it comes to ease of use, the blushes in the containers like this highlight just aren't that easy, and they're very difficult. They get dry easy in the same way that the matte Super Shock formula does, and it's just a little annoying to me. and I love the way it feels, but it's just so hard to use. So I had to put that one in the worst category as well, just because of it. I used to have a couple of the blushes like that, and I ended up getting rid of them because I could never figure out how to use them correctly, and then they all went dry anyway, so it didn't even matter. My third item on the worst list is actually one I feel really bad about, because I think for the most part they're really, really nice, but the eyeliners, the colored eyeliners, I honestly don't know if they're on the website anymore, because I haven't bought from Colourpop in a really long time now, because again, I haven't been doing much shopping here lately. But I know when they first came out, the pencils themselves, the pencil eyeliners, I do think are really good, and I really like them. The reason I'm putting them on the worst is because formula-wise, I don't think they're the greatest. That's mainly my biggest gripe with Colourpop products, is they just dry out so fast. So with the colored eyeliners, they dry out, and then it's like it shrivels the product, because the product itself is so creamy. So when you first get it, it's really, really nice, really easy to use, really smooth, really pigmented. But if you don't use it up pretty quickly, it dries out, and then it just basically crumbles apart. It's like you win some, you lose some, because they're super, super affordable, but at the same time, if you don't use them, it's still wasted money in my opinion. So I put those on the worst, which again kind of makes me feel bad, because I actually do really like those pencil eyeliners. I've had a lot. I've actually just I had to throw one out recently. It was the Honey Dude. It was the nude liner, because I don't like putting liner in my waterline very often, and that's why I bought that one, was to use it every now and again for like special events when I want my eyes to look bigger. But for everyday use, I don't like putting things on my waterline, because things about my eyeballs freak me out. It was dry when I went to go use it, and I was like, well, so much for that $5. It was kind of wasted. And then the last Colourpop item that I think is deemed one of the worst products, just in my opinion, and I mean, I haven't tried everything from Colourpop, but I really didn't like their liquid foundation. I tried wearing it a few times. There's a bit of a dip in it. I think packaging wise it's really cute, like I love the little stars all over the bottle, but for dry skin I don't think this is good. I felt like this emphasized my texture, and it sat on top of my skin, which as far as like how I like my makeup to look, I like it to look pretty like it's sunk into my skin. I like for it to look skin-like. I'm wearing a BB cream right now because I don't like feeling heavy foundations on my skin. It just makes me feel very constricted and just very So this was kind of how this formula was. I'm sure I could put an oil with this. Now I honestly haven't used it in a long time, because the few times I used it before I just hated it so much. I was like, I don't want to put it on my skin. It just feels like work. I like for my foundations to be pretty easy, and I don't like having to fuss with them too much. I just want to put them on my skin and go. And this isn't one of those foundations, unfortunately, which is why I'm putting in the worst. I will give them credit where credit's due though. Their shade range was pretty darn good. The packaging was cute and the price was right. And I just wasn't overall thrilled with this. Now I didn't get to try their stick foundation, because honestly I've never found a stick foundation I like, so I tend to try to stay away from them, but a lot of people say that it's really good, so that might be something I try in the future. But for now I have plenty of foundations, and I've just been very finicky with my skin here lately, but I have to unfortunately put their foundation in the worst list. But honestly, that's where the complaining ends. Now we're gonna move on to the products that I think are the best, just in my opinion. These are always the products I go for, and I like them. They're just darn good. So the first thing I'm gonna mention is something that I don't currently have, because I'm trying to get my concealer collection down, but the Colourpop concealer I actually really, really like. I've gone through like 4 bottles or 4 tubes. What do you call them? Tubes? Yeah, tubes. Jesus. I've gone through like 4 tubes of the concealer. Concealer is really, really good. I like it a lot, and it's super affordable. I actually do want to purchase another one once I get through all of my concealers. I'm trying to keep my concealer collection really, really small now, so I don't currently have one to show you. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it, but I think that concealer is amazing, especially for the price. It lasts a long time. They have a really good shade range, and I had no complaints about the concealer. It's not as full coverage as I think some people might like, but I don't need full coverage concealer because I don't really get dark circles. So for me, it worked really, really well. The next product that I think is one of the better products at Colourpop, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of Colourpop, so this is why my best side is a lot better. Also, I don't really find fault in many things. I'm pretty loose with most things unless they like really suck. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the same thing that I talked about in the worst, and that's the Super Shock shadows. I have a couple of the ones I have right here, but these are the metallic ones, I think. This one is a pearlized one, and this is an ultra glitter. Basically all of the Super Shocks besides the mattes I think are phenomenal. I have Cricket right here, and this is coconut. I'll just swatch them. I'll swatch them right next to the matte and you'll just see they just have such a pop. So Coconut is this beautiful pearlized blue. Like, look at that. Beautiful. And like you can see the shine to it. It's so nice, like just so nice. And then Cricket is the Ultra Glitter, and it's so smooth and pretty, and it looks beautiful on the eyes. It's like a cool tone purple. Like, look how smooth that is. Ugh. I love the Super Shock formula besides the matte. I've never tried a Super Shock besides mattes that I haven't liked. As far as formula, they're just smooth, pigmented, they give great like oomph to the eyes. I think the Ultra Glitters are some of my favorites, and the metallics are really pretty. And honestly, I don't feel like you can go wrong with the regular Super Shock kind of formulas. If it looks glittery, get it. Now, I don't have my favorite. My favorite Super Shock of all time is DGAF. That one is my favorite. I've gone through 2 of these with that one. I've actually used it. I used to wear it all the time when I first graduated and I had my first like office job. It was the shadow that I would wear every day because I could just put it all over my lid and then use a brown to buff out my crease. Done. And that was it. And I would get so many compliments on it, and I wore it every single day while I was working in my office job because it was just so easy and beautiful. It has like a pink shift to it. If you've never tried that Super Shock, I highly recommend it. I'm sorry if you are on a no buy because now I'm convincing you to go buy things, but DGAF is probably my favorite Super Shock I've ever tried. And what, the 4 or 5 years the Colourpop's been around now? It's my favorite. The next item on my best list is one that should be no surprise because this is one of the things that they launched really, really early on. I remember being super excited when they launched these because liquid lipsticks were new to the market, but their Ultra Matte liquid lipstick formula isn't technically the best. I will say that. It is a little drier, but I had to mention this color because I've gone through multiple tubes of this color. This is the Ultra Matte Lip in Bumble. Every time I've worn this in a video here lately, you guys have given me so many compliments on it because this is a beautiful liquid lipstick. This was actually one of their OG colors. This launched in their very first launch, and I bought it in that one, and I've bought multiple bottles since then because I actually do wear this a lot. I don't know what it, I don't love liquid lipsticks. I just find them very dry now. When they first launched, I think everyone was into them. I think a lot of us are shifting now, but I still keep going back to this one because of the color. I want them to make this color in something like a Ultra Satin or in one of their tube lipsticks because those are really good. But this color, I had to mention it in the best because, whoo, this liquid lipstick. Again, I'm sending you with a shopping list. I think you need to go to Colourpop. I think you need to buy DGAF, the Super Shock, and I think you need to go buy Bumble, the Ultra Matte Lip, because both of these things are like staples to me, although I don't have DGAF right now. Maybe I need to make a Colourpop order. Oh no. Now, like I said, I don't really care for liquid lipsticks at the moment, but I also have to shout out their OG Lippy Sticks. I don't really like the name. It's a little annoying to me, but the formula of the Lippy Sticks I really like. It's super comfortable. To me, it smells like Cabbage Patch Kids. Like, I don't know why no one really mentions it, but their Lippy Sticks smell like Cabbage Patch Kids, which honestly, in my opinion, doesn't smell bad to me. It could also smell kind of like Play-Doh if you think about it, because Cabbage Patch Kids kind of smell like Play-Doh. But, you know, I'm not mad at it. I'm a 90s baby, so for me, it works. Now the color I have right here is Lumiere. This was the Kathleen Lights color. I think they offer this in a liquid lipstick now, I believe, but I really like just the Lippy Stick formula. It's really nice to apply. It wears well, it's comfortable, and it's beautifully opaque. I have a few of these, and I think this is one of the better items at Colourpop. I think overall they do lip products really, really well. And then I'm lumping a lot together because they have a lot of these now, but I have to shout out, I have some of the single shades too. I didn't bring them over here, but I have to shout out their eyeshadow palettes. So I have Zodiac and Dream Street right here. I also have some of their single shadows over in my magnetic palette, and I just have to shout out their eyeshadow formula. So far, every eyeshadow, like every powdered pressed eyeshadow I've ever tried from Colourpop has all been really, really, really good. These compete with like Makeup Geek shadows in my opinion. I just think they're really good. They're so affordable. There's so many shades you can get, and I really like it. I also really like that they offer magnetic palettes on Colourpop now. The last time I looked at their website, they were offering new large magnetic palettes, and I kind of want to get one because I want a new one. And there are tons of single shades that I personally want to buy. I'm gonna make myself a shopping list now because I've seen the color Glass Bull that I really want to try that's a single shade, and I've seen what is it, I think Tiger Grass, something like that. It's or Paper Tiger. I think it's Paper Tiger. It's like this pretty like terracotta yellow color. I really want that one. Their formula of their pressed shadows is just really good, and I highly recommend it. I only have 2 palettes, but all of the palettes I've ever tried have been good. All of the single shades I've ever bought have been really good. Some of them I've already hit pan on and used almost entirely. So I think Colourpop, when it comes to Colourpop, I honestly think they know what they're doing when it comes to lip products and eye products. I think they're still trying to figure out their face and base products a little bit, because I know a lot of people don't like the concealer. I personally, like I said, do. But when it comes to their face and lip products, I honestly don't really think you could go wrong as far as formula is concerned, maybe with color. I am actually losing my voice. I've been talking for too long apparently. But this is it, guys. That was all of my best and worst of Colourpop. And I hope you guys liked this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to go check out Macey's channel. I will have her channel link down below. And hopefully that means I see all of you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!